people podcast of the DMV. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z. PTP. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, here I go. Motivation Monday. I'm excited. I'm so excited. As always, I try to bring things to you that's going to uplift you, put you in the spirit where you're going to feel like it's great to be alive. And anytime that we're able to give glory and praise to our Lord and Savior, you know, that's a good thing. But guess what? Even better than that, when you have someone who's been an individual that's been pleasing people, giving people, smiles of joy and things of that nature, that's even better. And so, you know, before I even come to you, I just got to tell you this individual has been doing some amazing things in the community. He's been doing amazing things in the world. And without further ado, let me just bring this gentleman in so y'all can see who I'm talking about. This is Mr. Joe Coleman. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Brother Rodney. How's things with you, man?
Man, anytime we above ground, man, it's a blessing. So I just say, you know, I'm hanging in there with two hands.
All right. Well, first of all, let me just thank you for that very gracious introduction there. I was trying to turn around, looking around to see if you were talking about me. Yeah, but I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here with you today.
You, sir, you are an amazing gentleman. Before I even really get into talking about you, I want to tell people how God blessed me to be able to be in your presence. We was at an event, and there had to be maybe 200 or 300 people in there. And I heard this man up there singing, and my wife was just mesmerized by this gentleman's voice. And she said to me, she said, "Baby, you got to get to know this man." And I was like, "Babe, I can't walk up there," because I just knew that he was somebody unique, somebody special. And next thing I know, I looked around. My wife, she done went up and introduced herself to you, and then called me over and introduced me to you. Yeah. And let me tell you something, man. That was one of the highlights in my life, that I met a gentleman like you, that's so humble and gracious, and at the same time willing to embrace people. So that was just it was a lesson learned in my life, because back then I didn't really know how to approach other men. My wife always got on me. She said, "You don't have no problem talking to a lady, but when it comes to a man, you be standoffish." And when I saw how sharp you was up there, and I mean, you had the crowd mesmerized, I was like, "Oh, okay." But Mr. Joe Coleman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me start by saying that you guys that was a blessing to me as well. You and Zena are just such wonderful people, and I'm always interested in meeting and getting to know people that are trying to do something. You know what I mean? Because you guys were on the way up, trying to figure it out, working through things and studying and on the grind, and you know, and those are the people that I enjoy. So Zena bringing that energy to my life was a blessing for me. So thank you guys for continuing to, you know, be on that path. You continue on that path, and you know, and I know there've been some things that have gone on, but nothing has stopped you. You've continued to move forward, and you know, that's through the power of God, and so that we're all in the right place. We're all where we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And also shout out to your beautiful wife, Miss Vanessa. Let me tell you, she's another powerhouse individual who, in her presence, me and my wife have been blessed through the process of seeing you perform. Now, this ain't really about just, I want people to know I'm your friend, but I want to, so yes, you know, I have sat down and ate with him personally, my wife and his wife and my wife and family. But I want to talk about you as a performer, you as a producer, you as an entrepreneur, you as a child advocate. You have been doing so many things. I mean, it is amazing how you've been doing this, and you're pretty much doing it all your life.
That's right. That's right. I come, both my parents were in the ministry, two Baptist ministers, mom and dad. And so I come out of a place of service, which they set the example for, as a young child. I understood that it was really wasn't about me or any of that. It was about spreading good and goodness wherever you are blessed to be able to do so. Yes, I enjoy working with young people, primarily through like the boys and girls clubs and that kind of thing. And I always want to be someone that is helping someone do something, get someplace that they're trying to go or whatever it is. And so yeah, and I've been blessed to be able to help where I can, and and it's something that's important to me. Was just instilled in me as a child. Mhm.
And so here you in the music business. If so, basically, being that your both your parents was into the ministry,
Mhm.
did you start your singing in the choir?
Well, as you probably know, I tell that story all the time. My mom, uh, I came home from school one day. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and my mother yelled downstairs at Joey. She called me at the time. Joey, it's time to get ready for choir rehearsal. And I said, "Well, Mom, I'm not in the choir." And she said, "Oh, I didn't tell you. You are in the choir." And so, ironically, that's where I met my stage mate that you've had the great pleasure of meeting, Joe Blunt. Unfortunately, he deceased, passed last year. But Joe Blunt and I, who Joe went on to be with a member of the Drifters, and toured with them for about 10 years, and we met in that situation. So yes, we've been singing since I was a little boy in my mom's choir at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church over there in Washington D.C. And she taught me, and then Joe's mom was the co-director, Mrs. Blunt Brown. Taught us everything we knew about harmony and group singing and all that kind of stuff. And I could always feel my mom's hand in my back, pushing me forward to do solos and things of that nature. Because I was very, very, very shy, and so she used that to help bring me out, and build my character and my personality a bit, because I was that shy guy. Could be in the room and no one would ever know I was there because I didn't say a word. Uh, uh,
That's very unique about individuals like yourself.
mm,
Many very talented individuals you find are not very outward individuals saying, "Hey, look at me,"
mm,
but many times have talents that when they do expose them, people are just simply amazed.
mhm.
And so, as that day when we first seen you perform, I was just, man, even as a grown man, I was hypnotized too, because I was like, this man can sing.
Thank you.
And the quality of your vocals, but not just that, but the songs that you were singing.
Mhm.
Now we get ready to go back, because some of the songs that you sing, I used to hear in my living room off of records.
Yes. Mhm.
So I think it was in 1982, maybe, that you
Mhm.
started singing with the Platters.
Well, yeah, yeah, I sang with the Platters with the review in Las Vegas at the Sahara Hotel for many, many, many years, and that's the thing, the wonderful music of that amazing group. And yeah, that was kind of a dream come true to have it culminate, have the work you put in, and working again, started way back with mom and the junior choir, and do talent shows and little shows where we were on the show because we asked to be on the show, not because they were going to pay us any money. You
Right.
know, I mean, just we almost wouldn't. We didn't have any money, but if we had some, we'd have paid them to be on the show. But so all of that, working up to the culmination of a career. So yeah,
So let me ask you this. So
Mhm.
prior to singing to the Platters, did you sing with any other groups?
I sang with a group called True Reflection. We were on Atlantic Records, yeah, and that's the irony of that is the same guy, Joe Blunt, from the choir, was a member of that group, and Glenn Leonard, who went on to be with the Temptations, and who later sang with. We'll talk about that as we go along.
Yeah.
So with my group, Leonard Coleman and Blunt, sang with the Temptations for 10 years. He's the high tenor voice on the Temptations version of Silent Night, which has now become quite a Christmas classic. And so, yeah, even back then, I was rubbing elbows with guys that were going to go on to do great things. Yeah.
And Joe, the other thing too, that you're not just known for your singing now.
Uh-huh.
You're also known for them dance moves that you be putting down on them. Hey, look, you
Yeah.
get up there, and I've been to many of your performances, man, and you do
Mhm.
it with ease.
Yeah.
It's, so that's another thing that not only do you sing, but you're an amazing entertainer.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I got into the choreography thing just working with everybody. Starting off just enamored with the Temptations and those smooth moves that they had, that kind of stuff. So we kind of just came up in the business trying to emulate that kind of thing. And I looked up and I became somewhat of a choreographer. I put a lot of those steps I put together, and uh, I had the great honor of working with a Tony Award-winning choreographer by the name of George Faison, who was won a Tony for The Wiz. And his claim to fame is that he discovered Stephanie Mills, that kind of thing. So I've been around one of the best choreographers in the business, and watched how he worked, and yeah, that flow and those steps are all part of the whole experience if you're going to be in a group type of setting. So that was really important to me to always be true to the art and to the presentation that we have here. I got this, amazing group. Let's do the stepping that's called for, and just make it happen and make it a whole party for everybody. Just all right, let's all go and do our little thing. That kind of. So it's a fun experience for me on stage, as much fun as it is for you out there. I'm hoping, I'm sending it out like, well, this is me, this is how I do it. I hope you're feeling it, and hoping it's taking you back to that place when things were cool. You had a little hair.
You know,
Some of us don't have any anymore. But we all had, we had our little fro, and we
yeah.
doing our little thing. And yeah, so it's about the whole experience. That's what it is.
I mean, I saw many of your performances with Joe Blunt and Glenn
Hmm.
Leonard.
Hmm.
Both Joe was a former singer with the Drifters,
Yes,
and Glenn with the Temptations.
right.
And when I saw y'all together, you know, y'all come together like a cup of coffee.
I agree. I agree.
And let me say,
Hmm.
excuse me, the cream, the sugar, and the coffee. It's
Yeah.
That's y'all. Y'all
Hmm.
three. I'm not saying not with anybody else, but I'm talking about what I experienced.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all was the perfect cup of coffee to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of the songs. Just name a few of the songs that y'all used to sing together in those performances.
Oh, like get ready and stand by me and under the boardwalk and smoke gets in your eyes and just my imagination and all those kind of fantastic songs. And I'll tell you what's interesting. I want to speak to that coffee and cream and sugar thing. We again, that was the group that we had called with True Reflection on Atlantic Records, right? We were in the 70s. It was 73, 74, 75. Through that period, we had an album out and kind of what they call regional hits. We didn't have a national hit, but we just had some areas of the country where we had hits. We had a song called "It Really Hurts." And anyway, the point is that I'm trying to make is, so That's in the 70s. We all go off after that, some period after that, and join these other amazing groups. And when after I left the group in 2000 something or other, 2004 or something like that. Um, around 2000, around 2015 or whatever, I started calling these guys Joe Blunt initially. Glenn was living in Houston, and so I said, "Well, there's no chance of, getting Glenn, but Joe and I can do something." And I said, "Well, let's put something together." I was talking to some other guys from other prominent groups, and Joe was all for it, and he was ready to go. Glenn Leonard calls me up. He says, "Joe," and he still, ironically, he still calls me Joey. It's according to how long you've known me, what name you give me, right? So he said, "Joey, I just spoke to Joe Blunt, and he said you putting some kind of group together, and did you really think you was going to be able to do this without me?" Now, mind you, again, he's living in Houston, you know. So I said, "Well, are you prepared to come back this way to do this?" He said, "Yes, I am."
Hmm.
he he packed up his stuff, packed up his gear, and came back to the D.C. area, to the DMV, to join what became Leonard Coleman and Blunt. Glenn Leonard from the Temptations, Joe Blunt from the Drifters, and me from the Platters, Sahara Review kind of thing, and and off we went. Now this is what I was really getting to. I took the long way to tell the story. So the question was, after what had to be the 70s, 80s, a good 20 something years, what would it be like singing together again? Now we put this group together, but we haven't hit a note yet, right? The first time we got together, boom, as tight as ever, just blew our minds. We couldn't believe it, there was no preliminary, no lead up. It just, we hit some notes, whoo, and whoop. It was like tight, like it just like it was back in the 70s. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was just a blend that was unbelievable, and I always loved singing with those guys
Well,
because.
basically, that's basically the skills of professional singers.
Hmm.
So, being that each one of y'all might have went y'all direction, but
Yeah.
y'all still had that professional skill to bring to the table.
Hmm.
So once you got it, y'all know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And we seen that over and over as we came to all your sold out shows. And
Yeah.
that was the other thing that really used to kind of irritate me, because when we found out that y'all were performing, you got to hurry up and get your tickets in
Yeah.
order to, first of all, to get a good seat.
Yeah, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
know.
then you get in there and the place is packed,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it was like, for me and my wife, and honestly, man, this is real serious.
Hmm.
We can listen to y'all sing over and over and over, and every time that y'all sung one of those songs, um, it was like you made us feel a part of it.
Hmm.
We was able to go back to that safe zone. We
Yeah.
was able to go back to that comfort zone where singing was exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Singing.
Yeah, that's right.
No tricks, no nothing. I'm talking straight up
Right.
vocal cords doing what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. No auto tune up in here. No.
No.
No auto tune.
And so you also had when you was in Vegas now, because I do a little homework on you. You
Mm,
sang with people like Barbara Streisand,
yeah. Hmm.
BB King,
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson,
Yeah.
Lou Rawls,
Yes, sir.
Benny King.
Yes, sir.
I mean, did it ever come to you that you was as just at the level that they are?
That's a really interesting question. In fact, I even like the way you set that up. That's really interesting. Those were guys that I just thought were on, the cream of the crop. So my thing was just feeling blessed to be able to sing with them and join them, and they would cool with me being there. It was that kind of thing. Benny King and I did a lot of touring together in Asia, in Japan in particular, doing shows all over Tokyo and Japan, and for a number of years until he passed a few years ago, which broke my heart. Because he was, first of all, just an amazing gentleman. Not to even get into anything about his talent, but just as a man, as a person, he was just really, really wonderful. And we shared some great times together. But working with all those people was a very special thing to me. I never, in truth, I was in awe of them, and I deferred to their talent and their place in the industry, and thankfully they kind of gave me my props as well. But it was those, working with those kind of guys and people. I worked with a number of great artists over the years, and the thing was always about the work, and about doing a good show, and making sure the folks left there feeling like they had their money's worth, and that they next opportunity they had to check it out, they would return. So that's what all about. But yeah, thanks for bringing those kind of folks up. But yeah, they get real special, and yeah.
But again, you're a special kind of guy. I always like to tell this story because I'm talking about you, Joe Blunt, and Glenn Leonard, and your significant others. As you know, Zena and I, we've been dipping and dabbing, trying to move forward in different areas. You remember when we was trying to get the club thing going?
Yes.
And
yes.
And so we was all pumped up because we was bragging to everybody who we had coming to the club. And the thing was, now we had no idea, and I'm gonna make this a brief story, but the people who owned the place, they just wasn't legit, but we didn't do all our homework.
Right. Yeah.
So now understand that we making a deal with them to start bringing artists in and do these things. So here I am. I talked to my partners who I was dealing with Pinky Slate, one of my very dear friends, a musician, and he's a producer and so forth and so on. I tell him, I say, look, I got Joe Coleman, Glenn Leonard, and Joe Blunt. All these are professional singers. They coming up here.
Yeah.
So y'all come in, and they got the place being heated with this gas outside pump thing or something that they had in there to heat the place up. And y'all came in there, and as y'all do, looking like movie stars. The ladies had their furs on and everything.
They did. Didn't they? They sure did. That's right.
And I know hey Joe, now let me tell you something. This is why you're a good man. You could have easily said, this food has lost its mind. How come y'all come in there and y'all smelling propane or something? Yeah. And so now me and Zena, we over here straight up embarrassed because that wasn't our first time being in your presence. So we really wanted to impress you. And but my point for telling that, not only did y'all stay, but you performed. Thank you, Joe. Man, let me tell you something. That told me so much about you and your beautiful wife. Y'all never ever kicked us to the curb. Y'all never made us feel less than. Y'all always treated us. Y'all saw we was out there trying. Yeah, we was trying to put the work in. But bro, man, when I tell you that, I would never forget that. But I had the utmost respect for you and your partners who you were singing with, and the ladies that were with you. Yeah, because y'all never turned y'all back on us, or you never turned us away, and you always had something encouraging to tell me. And many times I talk about you as one of the mentors that I take very serious because watching you as you perform on the stage, and the gentleman Glenn Leonard and the late Joe Blunt, y'all, man, are true professionals. And I was honored to be in your presence. And I just think that it was just really, really amazing. Okay, so Rachel said, I had the pleasure of seeing y'all perform in Art Center in Fairfax, the Art Center in Fairfax, Virginia. She said, I love your spirit and your singing. She says, I want to know, what's the secret for holding your notes so long?
Oh, yeah. Only you. I can hold it long, but I figured it shows only an hour, so I better let it go.
And you know something? I used to sit back and I used to wonder how he was doing that too. How did he hold that? Because I've seen you where you hold that note. I would have fell out on the floor.
Yes, it's all about voice control. I used to give voice lessons to Japanese students, who are the best students in the world, by the way. And I'll tell you why. But yeah, so I kind of use my own, I do a lot of breathing exercises to strengthen my lungs and that kind of thing, so that I can, in fact, control how much air I'm releasing as I'm doing this. You can, if you're doing it wrong, you'll release all your air right at the beginning, and then you don't have anything to hold on for it. But if you're releasing just a little bit of air, as a, it's hard to explain in this kind of session like this, but yeah. So that process has allowed me to hold that note for quite a minute. I was talking about Japanese students. I have a Japanese friend. His name is Toya Takuya. We've acted in the process of writing a musical together now called The Gravity of Love. He wrote the music, the fantastic music, and I wrote all the lyrics and that kind of thing. But he's from Japan, and the students, when people come to visit on a holiday to America, come to New York City, where I was living at the time, lived in New York for about 30 years. He would invite, he would have classes, and I would teach some of those classes. And they were students who were completely tuned in. They would, whatever you tried to get them to do, they would do it full out, completely. And so I was able to see the improvement in their vocal skills after one lesson, because they just tuned in so closely to what you were doing. I would, do some vocalese, which is, all that stuff. And then I would have them sing a song. Basically, I would have them bring two songs, and I would critique the song and tell them how to get more of the flavor out of the tune, and what the emotion should be, and that sort of thing. But, through that process, it helped me personally, because I utilize the techniques that I'm teaching and that sort of thing. But and that's just another one, just an offshoot of the wonderful experience of being an entertainer, is to you have such a broad spectrum of people that you get to meet and interact with in many different ways. Yeah.
I tell you, just again, over some of the times that I've seen you perform, we was at one of your birthday parties, and you carried that whole performance by yourself.
Yeah.
And me and my wife sat there, just really just truly amazed, because sometimes you people can hold an audience when they have help.
Yeah.
But you did that on your birthday, and we were sitting there, and all we wanted you to do was not to stop singing.
So I'm saying to my wife, "No, okay, it's my birthday. Why am I singing? Why am I the entertainment of my own birthday?" But yeah,
that we come to see Joe Coleman, and something, we love you, and we care about you getting a little older, but we want to hear you sing, you know. And so
yeah,
your wife Vanessa, she knew exactly what she was doing
yeah,
because that was another sellout. That was another time where when I say it was just overwhelmed with people,
yeah.
and we was always really, really amazed at your singing ability, but not just that. Um, you personalize your shows.
Mm-hmm.
You make them so that everybody in there feel like they are there just with Joe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so, for the audience that just joining in, this is Joe Coleman, one of the former singers of the Platters. He's a legend from the DMV, one of my friends, and he's an amazing man. And when I tell you, if you ever see that he's performing anywhere, you need to go see this man on stage. Now, if they was going to see you right now, it will be with the Voices of Classic Soul, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, and I, again, through the presence of you, I had the honor and pleasure of getting to meet Joe Blunt, an amazing man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, y'all two, y'all flavor was just amazing. Some of the smoothest guys I ever met in my life. Just shout out to Joe's wife and family.
Yeah.
An amazing man, and so I know for a minute it was you, because Glenn ended up moving on.
Right.
Then it was you, Joe, and was it Theo?
Theo Peoples. Yes.
Yeah.
Who was also a former member of both the. He was with the Temptations for a number of years, and then he joined the Four Tops for 12 years. He took Levi Stubbs' place as the lead singer of the group, which is an interesting story in that he was out with the group, but not the lead singer. Uh, but Levi was beginning to get have health challenges and that sort of thing. And they were in Vegas, and Levi stopped the show. He's like, wait a minute, he stopped the show. He hadn't told anybody what he was doing, no one. And he turned and he said, I've been doing this literally 50 years. The Top's been the same group for same group members and all that for 50 years. And I think it's time for me to spend more time with my family and da 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 da. And he said, and I identified the person that needs to carry on the legacy, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Theo Peoples. And he was like, "What did he just say?" He walked over, handed Theo the mic, the lead mic, and walked off the stage.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, and Theo was like, "Okay, really?" Yeah, and so he took over from there for 12. A great guy, wonderful guy, and truth be told, he still works with me when he's available, but the Four Tops made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, so he has returned as the lead singer with the Four Tops. Uh,
Okay.
right now, yeah, and I have a gentleman out of Las Vegas who was able to fill in. No one that can actually take Joe's place, but to fill in his own way and style is Mr. Jerome Jackson out of who lives in Las Vegas currently, sings with the group as well, with Voices of Classic Soul. And like I said, when Theo's available, he still works with us for on dates and that kind of thing. But yeah, so oh, and just one, but I keep you mentioned Joe, and I just wanted to give a real shout out to Joe Blunt. Joe was an amazing talent, and more than that, he was just a wonderful man of God, wonderful man of God. And we've known each other, like I said, since he was 7, 8 years old. So we've known each other our entire lives. Uh, Never had an argument, a disagreement of any kind. That doesn't mean we always had the same opinion about stuff, but we always worked through it. He was always a gentleman. He had the most beautiful baritone voice in the business, as far as I'm concerned. Um, his wife Paula is a wonderful woman, and they made a tremendously great team together, and I was just proud to share the stage with him on first as a young man, because I took his place in True Reflection while he went away off to serve in the National Guard. He was during the Vietnam era, and when I came in, I was just coming back from the Air Force. I was stationed in Japan and in California, and he called me and said, "Hey, man, I got to go in. When are you coming out?" I said, "Well, I'll be out in a couple of months or whatever." He said, "Well, step right in here." And so we switched places for a while. When he came back, we made a group of four, and and then just have this great opportunity in the mid 2000s to come back together and sing with him for another 10 years is just a blessing. It's only God, and with Glenn back as well. So we had just an amazing run together, going around one more time together. It was just amazing. Yeah, only
I,
God.
I'm I'm sitting here reading something that when we was talking about the breathing techniques and stuff.
Mhm.
Reggie said, "I just got my certificate for breathology, and I mentioned your name when we learned that technique using the demographics. Then let me see." She says, "Okay, when we learned the technique using that demographic, thank you for sharing your secret."
Okay. Oh, that's
Because
great.
many people who have had the opportunity
Hmm.
to come to your performances, you, Joe, and Glenn,
Hmm.
some of our friends who we invited to come out,
Hmm. Yeah.
once they left, they were just amazed and honored to be in the presence of what we consider celebrities. Now, I know as humble as y'all always walk around like just normal men. But to
Hmm.
us, it was more than that. And I want to bring up two individuals that were very, very dear to me
Hmm.
that loved, man, when I tell you they loved y'all as a group,
Yeah.
but they was in love with Joe Coleman. And
Yeah.
that was my mother
Oh,
and
yeah.
my mother-in-law.
Hmm.
Both of them adored you.
Oh, man. And in
And
Houston.
I was a little ashamed for a minute, to be honest with you. Not ashamed, but I had this little embarrassment. I said, "Mom, get a hold of yourself." Because we could look. Y'all autographed the picture for my mother.
Hmm.
My mother hung that picture up in her bedroom,
Mm.
and every now and then she would ask me, Have you talked to Joe?" And my mother-in-law, she was just the same. So
Yeah.
me and Zena, we ain't never played between the two of them, but we always made them feel like they were special,
Yeah.
more special than the other, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Joe, when I tell you, man, I remember one time you reached out to my mom,
Hmm.
you lifted her spirit,
Yeah.
and she was truly a fan.
Mm.
Um, she just lit up whenever I mention your name, and my mother-in-law as well.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we go through the pictures and we see the pictures of them
Yeah.
that you took with them, and they look like schoolgirls.
You know, you know what? I don't always remember everyone that I meet in that environment, but I remember meeting both of them at that Carlisle Club at that
That's
particular
right.
night. Yeah, they were both so sweet and so excited, and that which pumped me up. I was feeling good about everything, and they just were just wonderful ladies out to have a good time, and we hugged and it was amazing. I do remember them very well, and I'll thank you for the opportunity to come back and go to your mom's home to
Yeah.
speak to her. But
You know another fantastic lady. I mean, who we got to give some kudos to, and
mm,
that's Vanessa, your wife. Now, let
mm,
me tell you, see, she's a queen.
yes,
She always laid back, moving them. She watching everything that's going, but I've never seen her interrupt the
mm,
process of you networking with the
mm,
audience.
right,
I mean, women coming up to you 20. I mean, they just lining up. Sometimes me and Zena, we standing there, we ain't feeling too much pressure because we figure we're gonna see even after the show. But
Right.
we see people standing in line. But your wife Vanessa and Joe's wife Paula, them two ladies are. I mean, when I tell you they're a class act in their own rate
Yeah.
and way, always just making sure everybody was taken care of, making sure everything was going smooth.
Yeah.
And so, behind every successful man, there's a woman, and both of y'all was blessed with two queens.
That's exactly right. You know what? Joe and I both acknowledge that we married up. You know, we kind of we went up a level when we got married. My wife Vanessa has always supported my career fully. She understands how the game is played, pardon the expression, and that so she understands that. Well, I'll just put it plainly: any successful male artist does not draw the attention of the women is not going to be a successful male artist. He's not.
I get it. I get it.
The fellas can't pull it. The fellas are going to come where the ladies go.
Exactly. That and you know something. When people understand that, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's always like this. If you want some bees, then get some honey.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's right.
And believe that everybody loves some honey, so everybody be coming.
That's right. Yeah.
So I understand that platform. Again, just watching how y'all maneuver and y'all made. Let me ask you this. Let's go back when you was singing, and I don't know what it was really like, but did they give y'all the respect at the time when you were young and artists on the stage? Did you have to go through that stage and where you had to go through the back door, or you weren't able to eat in the restaurant? Did you ever have to experience that?
I've had some I have to say limited experience like that. Not so much going through the back door. I'll never forget though when I first got in business. I was with True Reflection still. We were on Atlantic Records, and we went on tour to England and Germany, and we were performing in Germany in Frankfurt at the club or the showroom was in the hotel, and so we're about to go on, and the guy says, and we're walking into the ballroom. He says, "Well, the guy says, no, the entrance for you guys is through the kitchen." I said, what? Excuse me. The ballroom is over there. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand, sir, but your entrance is over there. That kind of thing. So, and to get through the first night, we went to the kitchen. But at the time, Joe Blunt and I were the spokespersons for the group for True Reflection, and so I kind of went and spoke to the ownership, management, whatever, and I said, I know that the kitchen is over there, but we'll be entering from over there. We're going through that ballroom and go where we need to go. So y'all need to figure this thing out, or we got a return ticket. I didn't fly over here without a round trip ticket,
right?
And so we went to the ballroom from that night on. But yeah, the business has always been such that there's almost like a little disrespect built into it. I hate to even say that, but it's kind of true because it's interesting. Musicians, artists work as hard as everybody else to get their craft together, and on stage, I'm actually working hard. But I was told by a gentleman, an old pro, many years, make the easy stuff look hard, make the hard stuff look easy. Mm-hmm. And so you sometimes when you're doing those spins and you're making them look effortless, you're putting in some body stuff to get that thing just right and land and grab that mic in the right place and do all that. You know what I'm saying? And so people think sometimes, I believe, that the artist it's just a natural thing, and you're not working. You're a singer. Just go up there and sing. If it were that easy, I think there would be a lot more folks up there singing. But it's more to it, on the successful side.
Yes.
You know, and so yeah,
They,
it's kind of built in.
a lot of people don't understand what goes into performing. I'm
Mhm.
talking even when you don't feel good, or if you have a
Mhm.
headache, or
Right.
it's just because you're singing. That don't mean that it's easy.
That's right.
You got muscles here that you have to use
Right.
regularly.
Right.
And so I used to watch y'all when y'all take y'all break, and I will watch y'all. I'm paying attention to everything. I'm watching y'all wiping away sweat.
Yeah.
I'm watching y'all trying to get a drink of water. I'm
Hmm.
watching y'all as y'all getting it, and I could see as y'all was performing that you're pulling this from the inside.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Because of course, yeah, I'm listening and everybody's mesmerized, but me being a gentleman who's interested in production and doing stuff like that, I'm looking at the other part of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I used to see how y'all could just literally get up there, and sometimes I noticed when you would do the point of talking and engaging with the audience, you giving y'all voice a break.
Yeah, yeah. That
Good
is true.
technique, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Sometimes it's about that. Let me just talk to you for a while, catch my wind,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Yeah, people don't fully understand. I mean, sometimes when we're traveling places, the flight was delayed. By the time we get off the flight, we not going to the hotel. We going straight to the venue. Uh, try to work the band, because nowadays it's not cost effective to fly your band in all the time. So you working with regional bands, they come in for that particular show. You got to work them out and get them together, and then it's showtime, right? And
yeah,
you haven't had any rest and you sleep, but you going out there. But they don't want to hear about that. They want to hear you sing and have some quality to your voice and do what it is you do. And so that's all part of the process, that kind of thing. As far as the discrimination piece against us, yes, we've experienced, and I've personally experienced some of that, but um as we move through this thing, it's about dignity, right? So you just whatever comes at you in that way, you're trying to make sure that you maintain your dignity, and that make them understand that I'm not, I'm gonna deal with what I have to deal with, but don't get it twisted.
right.
Don't get it twisted. This could go bad at any moment now.
I tell you, man, it's just again,
Mhm.
um, it's just an honor to be able to have these conversations with you. We've had them. You've been on the podcast before,
Yeah.
and then I've been in your home and
Yes.
we went out to restaurants and things of that nature, different events and so forth and so on. And before we still got a couple of minutes, but I
Yeah.
also want to jump in and tell people, your wife has a podcast.
Yes, yes. So it's called the Working It Out TV podcast. It's on the WHUT, in association with PBS, channel 32, 532 HD comes on every week. We have a new show. Uh, uh, we started off with Core Masters, showing Core Masters Barry, the courage of activism, and then we followed last week with Iyanla Van Zant, motivational speaker Iyanla Van Zant, and she was talking about grandparents as parenting, because and she's speaking from a personal place, because she had to take in her grandson, great grandson, because her daughter passed, and so she had to take him in at age 4, and she was 72 years old,
Mm,
that kind of thing. And so and this week we've got Chuck and Bree West, Octet Productions. So yeah, and they come to talk about black film and the issues that they're dealing with now with the new DEI situation and that sort of thing. But yeah, she's Dr. Vanessa Weaver, working it out, and I'm co-producer on that piece with her, and I wrote the jingle for the show and that kind of thing, and I do work behind the scenes on that. We've also got a special that we're doing in association with WHET called on aging. We call it the upside of aging, confronting ageism. Uh, and we shot the special. We've got Iyanla and Iyanla Van Zant and Les Brown as our special guests, and they come in to talk to. And we've got a diverse group of folks of a certain age who talk about the way they approach and how their feelings about aging and that sort of thing. And I sent you an invitation. You probably haven't seen it yet.
Okay. But most definitely. We've been tuning in.
Yeah.
First of all, man, I am so proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she's a class act.
Yeah.
Please let her know that I am also looking to have the opportunity to interview her myself.
Yes.
Before she blows up big. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even though I know that she would still give me that opportunity.
Yeah, listen, she mentioned it when I told her I was going on. She said, "Oh, we talked to Rodney and I talked about interviewing me a couple of years ago." And I said, "Well, I'm sure that we put that right back on the table." So,
and believe it or not, Zena and I, we talked about it as we watched the show. We again was really impressed. We shared it with quite a few of our friends as well. We believe in networking and supporting one another. That's one of the things that I'm trying to push with the People to People podcast is for us to come to a level of understanding. In order for us to survive, we got to keep these networking avenues for us available because we can bring things to the table, be able to share it and share it at a level that won't cost you an arm and a leg just to get to proper exposure.
Yes.
So definitely, again, please always make sure that you send invitation to Zena and I, because we are not just fans of yours, but also fans of hers as well. And she's doing a fantastic job. And so I'm just excited moving forward. And tell her don't get mad if I steal a little bit of her flavor.
I have to say you're a pretty good doggone host there, sir. You kind of your flow is really nice. So you're doing your thing, and I'm really glad to be and honored to be here with you. That's for sure. Yeah.
But sir, hey, you gave me some secrets along the way, and sometimes and something you told me that I never forgot, and I didn't really understand what you meant. But we was at one of your gatherings at your home, and you pulled me aside. You said, Rodney, sometimes you got to get rid of your baggage in order for you to move forward. And at first I didn't really know what you meant, and then I realized something. You can't keep holding on to the same things because you'll get the same results.
Right.
So if you want to move forward, you got to cut some things loose and try some new things. And so every time that I heard that in my mind, I thought about it and I said, okay, we tried that didn't work. Let that baggage go. Now let's go move on.
Yes.
That's right. And so, again, Joe, you're an amazing man.
Thank you.
I told you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You ever need me to carry your bags, I'll carry them.
My brother.
And let me tell you something. I'm one of those guys, man. It don't take nothing. When I was in the Marine Corps, I learned something. The love of another man don't mean nothing shady or nothing like that.
That's right.
It's love of a brother to brother or somebody who's opened doors. You open doors for many people. You've opened doors for many people. You and many other singers like Glenn and Joe Blunt. And we can go on and name so many. And we need to take the time to show you and give you your flowers while you're here. And again, this is such an honor for me to be able to have this opportunity to talk to you. Now, this is something else I'm throwing out there. I'm trying to work on something now that after tomorrow I will be able to focus on doing some other things. I got some things I'm going to put together. I'll put it in black and white, put it on paper that I want to sit down and talk with you and Vanessa about for the future, just to get your advice. And one of them do involve you. That that I want to see if I can put and let me rephrase that. I don't want to say see if I can pull it off. I can pull it off.
That's right.
And I know that. Yeah. But I want this to be like a highlight that is going to also be one of those times that when you sit down and you and Vanessa drinking y'all coffee in the backyard and y'all think about that club incident. Y'all gonna say Rodney finally made up for it. I want y'all to say he finally made up for it. And Vanessa gonna say, you know what, Joe? He all right.
He all right. That's right. That's right.
But hey, Joe, man, you like again, hey, it's just an honor, man. I swear, as many of us that and when I say many of us, it's people in this area who don't know the journey that you lived. They haven't had the opportunity to come and see you perform. So anyone who interested in hiring a professional singer, you want to get Joe Coleman. And reason why I'm saying that is this, because some of the songs that he sing, you're gonna be like, oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Those were songs that we listened. We heard them on the radio. Yeah. We heard them in our living room.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that many of y'all are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because we think that it was so far back, but it's not far back as we think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, here you are, I'm not going to tell your age, but here you are still performing those songs.
That's
and
right.
Performing them like they were yesterday.
Yep. Yep. And what's
interesting? Do you have anything coming up?
I'm glad you mentioned it because I am doing more solo stuff, more Joe Coleman stuff now. And I've been working at Mr. Henry's over there in Pennsylvania Avenue in DC. The club that was kind of made famous by Roberta Flack, and she had a residency there for many years. So I've been working at Mr. Henry's. I'll be there June the 14th, 8 p.m. And you mentioned something early. You get the tickets early because those tickets fly out. I've had 3 sellouts, and the tickets are going out faster and faster. It's
and that's Mr. Henry's.
Mr. Henry's, yeah.
Okay.
On 6th and Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast, right out there, right on Capitol Hill, and it's a pre-Father's Day show. The next day is Father's Day, I believe. So it's pre-Father's Day show, and we're going to do honor dads and the men who served as dads and husbands and stuff like that. And we're just going to have a good old time and do a bunch of good songs and some good music. I've got a tremendous trio that I work with now, and it's just going to be a good time. June 14th.
Are tickets on sale now, or when would it be?
They probably won't go on sale till sometime in May.
Okay, now I'm putting my bid in right now. So as soon as they going on, because I know me and Lady Z, we went out front row seats. I don't like where I'm in the back. I'm getting a little frustrated because I be like, we want to be right up front with you.
Okay.
When you throw the sweat off, I wanted to feel it. So I want to be right there. So you make sure, but you know something? I promise you, we will do everything to promote it.
Yep.
Always, I'm me and my wife, we're cheerleaders in your arena with you and your wife, Vanessa.
Yeah.
We always want to know when her program is going on.
Yes.
Again, she's a class act, and you, sir, you're a king in your own right. I put on there legend. You are a legend. You're a legend from the DMV. We got Chuck. We got different individuals. Marvin Gaye. We got different people who came from the DMV. And guess what? We got Joe Coleman too. So there's many of us who are not aware of the work that you and many of us have put in. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because I got something coming up. I got an idea, and I know it'll work. And so, you know, I'm gonna do my best to put this thing into motion and sit down with you so I can show everybody that you're really my friend.
Hey man, for real, let's do it. I'm with it. I'm with it.
So again, everyone that just tuned in, you need to go back and tell everybody, go back and look at this interview, because this was one of my best. I tell you, I'm blessed with one of the best guys in the business, Mr. Joe Coleman. He is a legend.